Hello guys, and welcome to day 2 of your 20-day flexibility and tension release challenge. Today we are getting into the hips, loosening up those hips. So let's get started. Seated on our mat. I'm just going to put my feet in front of me here. And we're going to start with some 90-90s. So I'm going to sit comfortably on the glutes. And I'm just going to place my hands behind me. And before we start doing wipers, let's just loosen up the hips here a little bit together already. So just kind of fluttering back and forth, warming it up a little, seeing how they're doing today. So just starting to focus on the hips, maybe hands on the hips here if that feels okay. So we're just shaking it out before starting. Maybe straight legs and just moving feet side to side. Checking in with those hips today, checking in with the body. All right. Let's place the feet on the mat in front of us. And I'm just sitting up nice and comfortable here. You don't have to sit up very tall, you can just sit comfortable. And we are going to bring the knees over to the left. Now, we don't have to be strict with it. You can just bring your hip along here, giving yourself loads of space. So just starting to get curious about the hips here. See how it feels for you when you rotate side to side. It's a little glute massage during. And if you're sliding forward, no worries. Just sit back up straight a little bit. Just rolling through the hips here to start. Such an important area of the body to give some attention to, give some care to. That's exactly what we are doing. Starting to breathe deeper already, just with this dynamic mobility exercise. Keeping it really smooth for yourself, so no pushing, no forcing. And we're just rolling it out here. Let's make it a little more dramatic. So I'm going to go to the side, I'm going to go up. Just slightly when I'm here, just getting that glute off the floor a little bit, so some lower back action as well. Again, if you're sliding forward, that's totally normal. Rolling it out. And we're going to bring the knees over to one side. So I'm bringing my knees over to the right here. I'm going to sit up a little bit, and I'm going to bring my weight onto my front leg. Okay, so I'm just going over slightly. Again, this might be enough sensation for you today. It's our first stretch, of course. So if this is enough sensation for you, we're focusing on the front hip, front leg. That's totally fine. If not, you can lean over your leg slightly. Maybe even making a pillow of your hands for your head. And I'm going to kind of experiment here with the angle that my upper body is. So the more that I'm going to move my upper body over to the left when I'm folding, the more you're really going to feel it in that right hip. So a little bit more sensation. Of course, if that middle ground was enough for you in the middle, totally fine. We're just going to hang out here for a couple of breaths. So breathing deeply into the belly, into that right front leg, feeling this in the hip, in the glute, lower back area even. So just using that breath to relax that front hip. Trying to stay in one spot with that stretch sensation. This one it can be quite sensitive. Just trying to stay in one spot. Let's do a couple of good deep breaths here. Using that out breath to relax a little more. Taking this small moment for your hips today. Slow, deep breaths, even when we're feeling that stretch. Two more breaths right here. If you are down, let's use the hands to come back up here. I'm just getting the weight off that front leg very gently. Oof, maybe feeling some blood coming back. Feels so nice. And then we're going back through the middle, just shaking out that right leg that we've just stretched out. And then let's move the legs over to the left for the second side. So just taking our time, maybe the inner leg is up here for you, that's totally okay. We are focusing on the front leg again. So I'm going to place my weight on my front leg, looking for that hip stretch. And even if you're able to do a pigeon, keeping that back leg bent so you can really focus on the front leg here, left hip. I'm coming down for this one, but feel free to stay up. Playing with that angle of the upper body, so a little bit more to the right here is going to increase the stretch for you. Staying at a comfortable edge. Good breaths here when you feel it. Bringing our focus to that left leg, left hip. Stretching deep into the psoas as well with this one. Just breathing. Two more breaths on this side. Staying with that feeling, staying with the breath. We're not here forever. Coming back up slowly. Okay, let's make our way, shake it out. Let's make our way to our back from here for some hip circles. So we're with some hip mobility here. I want you to pull in the right knee into the chest. Stretch out the left leg, so maybe already feeling a nice stretch in your left hip flexor. Just taking a moment here with that feeling in the left hip flexor. So I've got my right knee pulled into my chest, and I'm stretching my left foot away from me. Still breathing here. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to make circles with my right knee. So just to release that right hip, hands come alongside the body. I'm just going to circle it out here. So you can make this as intense as you want, because if you stretch out your leg at the bottom, it's going to become a little bit more active. So if you're feeling a little more tired today, maybe even keeping the hand on that knee, circling inside the hip. It's totally okay if it feels a little crunchy or if it's popping. Just rolling it out here. If you are looking for more intensity today, feel free to really stretch that leg forward before bringing it back into the chest, okay? So choosing your option here. Making sure that knee comes out all the way to the side when we make the circle. So really opening up that inner thigh as well. One more big circle from here. So if you are doing just the knee circles, going around the clock. Whew. Some more active mobility with that one. Really loosening up in those hips. Let's get the left knee into the chest from here. Right leg is out nice and long, extended. Good breath. Feeling into that right hip flexor. Stretching that right foot away from the right hip. Still breathing. Same thing with the left leg. So we're just going to be circling here inside the joint. Make sure that this is not becoming an ab exercise. Relaxing the belly. Choosing your option, keeping that circle small or big with stretching the leg out. Again, this might feel a little cracky. That's totally normal. Don't worry about that. Just becoming familiar with your hip here on the left side. Still breathing. Taking a pause if you need. One more circle on the left side. Stretching it out. So let's do one big overhead stretch. So feet and hands are pushing away from each other as if we're just waking up, lengthening the front of the hips. Breathing here. And let's bring it back up to seated for our last one. Woo, hips are nice and loose. Good combination of active and slow today for our session. So let's bring the feet together in butterfly here. And I'm just kind of shifting on my glutes, making sure I'm comfortable. The closer you bring the feet, the more you will feel this, but don't make this too much of a competition with yourself. You want it to be comfortable still. So I'm bringing my feet out a little bit further than I normally would, just to give myself some extra grace this morning. And when you're ready, you can start to slightly fold forward if that feels okay. Make sure you fold forward from the belly button. I'm feeling into my inner thighs here, so nice opening here of the hips, maybe some lower back as well. I'm just going to do 5 deep breaths here, letting my head relax fully, letting my chin dangle down onto my chest. Deep breaths here. Enjoying the spinal release as well, but really breathing into those inner thighs, letting the knees just dangle with gravity here. No pushing, no pulling. Last breath is a really deep one. rolling it back up. Some little flutters to end today's session.